Alright guys, this video is for anyone thinking about summoning right now in Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade. Don't do it. Do not summon. I know that sounds so weird, but you should not be wasting your cubes on the pickup gacha that is there in the game right now. You should also not be wasting your cubes on the Junpei banner that is going to be coming up, okay? I will explain why here in a second, but basically, as of right now, if you did the pre-registration, you have a free redrawable SSR guaranteed ticket where you can get any one of the SSRs in the game. You can get the best SSR in the game, being Gojo, and then you can also get another redrawable SSR ticket if you complete the missions in the game, the 7-day missions, and at day 7 you'll get a redrawable SSR ticket and you'll be able to get another guaranteed SSR. And beyond that, there are also free tickets you'll get through the game, through missions and through the exchange shop that allow you to do multi-summons on the basic banner in the game where you're still able to get all 9 SSRs. So long story short, do not waste your cubes. We're going to be taking a look at the JP timeline of events and we're going to compare it to global. So we have all this stuff going on right now in global, same as JP had, and then we have the Junpei banner coming up on global just like JP had, as well as the Grand Exorcism battle. All of this is exactly the same, and this has been confirmed on the global Twitter. Right here, if I scroll down, you can see we have Homesick Horizon gacha and events. We have the Futured gacha with Junpei. If I'm saying his name wrong, I apologize. And then we have the Grand Exorcism battle. But notice, they did not say what is coming after that. So banners come out every 2 weeks, and the banner that comes after this guy is absolutely insane. Actually, the next 3 banners that come out after this guy are insane. So my recommendation, don't summon on the Homesick Horizon gacha. Also, do not, listen to me when I say this, do not summon on this Phantom Parade Futured gacha either. It is not worth it. The reason being, because the next month, it's going to be absolutely hype in December, right? We are going to be getting the Jujutsu Kaisen 0 movie banner. So we're going to get this banner first. This banner is only going to feature SR characters. This banner is not that great. I don't necessarily recommend summoning on this one. It has some okay characters, but I wouldn't go too crazy on it. But then the Jujutsu Kaisen 0 banner part 2 is where it gets really interesting, because that is where Yuta comes out. Yuta is one of the best characters in the game still on JP. Like, he is absolutely insane. He literally does everything. He heals, he has counterattack, he has an AoE ultimate skill. Like, he's so good. We'll talk more about his skills here in a little bit, but you want to be able to summon on this banner. So right now, you should not be spending a single one of your cubes on the basic gacha. If you have, I'm sorry, but start saving now, and don't waste them on the upcoming Junpei banner, because then we are going to be getting Yuta very, very soon. And if that's not bad enough, after Yuta, they release another super hype character, in my opinion, not including him. Okay, so we can skip him. That's a skip. But then we get Megumi. Megumi is absolutely insane. This domain, impartial expansion domain, Megumi is an insanely good character. And when I read his kit to you guys, you will understand why. Trust me, we'll go over his kit. We'll go over Yuta's kit as well. We're not going to go over him because he's okay. He's not as worth it to me. But then after Megumi comes out, the next month, we are going to be getting Nimble Body Itadori, who is also a very good character. And then after that, we're going to be getting Hollow Purple Gojo. So many good characters coming out back to back, right? You guys are going to want to save your cubes for these characters. Now, how good are these characters? Well, I have a tier list here to show you. This is not a tier list I made. This is a tier list from the JP players. It is a community tier list. I think it is probably the most accurate tier list there ever is for this game. Even beyond, I've done a tier list, and I don't think my tier list is as accurate as this. So just keep that in mind. They have the manual tier list and the auto tier list. So running on auto versus running on manual. But on the manual tier list, right? So we have the goated Gojo. This is day 1 Gojo that you can get right now. He is still in double S tier. That's crazy, right? So if you haven't gotten Gojo yet, really good. Then we have Yuta, also in double S tier. Then we have Hollow Purple Gojo, also in double S tier. All 3 of those characters coming out pretty close together are going to be in double S tier. That's crazy, right? And then if we look down at S plus tier, you have that Megumi I mentioned, right? And then you also have Nimble Body Itadori right next to Megumi. So all those characters I just mentioned, either in S+ tier or double S tier, they are all very, very good. And I'll zoom in just so you guys can see that a little bit better. But like, yeah. So you're going to want to save for Yuta. You're going to want to save for Hollow Purple Gojo. You're going to want to save for Megumi. And you're going to want to save for Nimble Body Itadori. And now you're probably feeling overwhelmed, like you can't save for them all, because that's going to be hard to do. So I highly, highly recommend, once again, that if you are thinking about summoning, you should not be summoning on this banner, and you should also not be summoning on this banner. You guys should absolutely be saving for these characters that are going to be busted. The rest of these characters, we'll talk about them down the line as they come to the game, and I'll talk about what you guys want to save for and what you want to summon for, but hopefully this just gives you an idea of whether you want to start saving now or not. Now let's talk about what Yuta can do, because he's going to be the most recent release, or the one coming up pretty soon. Once again, he'll be coming out relatively close after the Junpei, because you have Junpei and then you have the Jujutsu Kaisen 0 movie initial banner, and then you have part 2. So he'll be coming out for part 2 halfway through December most likely. So you can expect this character to be coming out fairly soon. So what can Yuta do? Well, let's talk about it. So Yuta does have a Black Flash. When Black Flash is performed, increase his own Black Flash rate by 3, so keep that in mind. And then he deals 120% melee taijutsu damage to the selected enemy with his skill 1. This is at level 1. You can, on this website, it'll be linked in the description below, see what it's at each level for damage and stuff like that. At skill 2, Cursed Speech deals 90% jujutsu damage to all enemies, decreases all enemies' critical hit resist by 15%, allowing you to land more crits. Depending on own jujutsu and enemies' remaining HP, you can instantly kill the enemy. Like, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Skill 3, Let's Do This Together, Rika, deals combined damage equal to 80% taijutsu, 110% jujutsu, 100% taijutsu, and 150% jujutsu to the selected enemy. It is 4 hits. Those 4 hits go crazy, man. They let you do so much damage. Like, it's so good. And then his ultimate. It's Pure Love, deals 1000% ranged jujutsu damage to all enemies, and AoE, just like Gojo, who I know a lot of people are loving right now on launch. Increases own taijutsu damage by 20% for 4 turns, increases own jujutsu damage by 20% for 4 turns, and for those 4 turns, though, he can't increase his ultimate skill gauge, but that is going to allow you to hit harder with your other skills up above for 4 turns, which is going to be crazy. And now the thing that makes Yuta really good, in my opinion, are his auto skills. So his auto skill 1, I Won't Let You Die, at the start of each turn, if an ally's HP is 60% or below and own cursed energy is 10 or above, recovers all allies' HP by 25%. So he's got healing, okay? Excludes self, though. He doesn't heal himself. Decreases own cursed energy by 10, increases own taijutsu damage by 10%, jujutsu damage by 10%, and fills own ultimate skill gauge by 200 up to 3 times during battle. And then the additional skill that he has for an auto skill, Don't Bully Yuta. When targeted by an enemy's melee attack, certain chance to deal 120% melee damage, jujutsu damage to the enemy, or otherwise known as a counter. So he has a counter, he has healing, he has really good damage, he has an AoE ultimate. Like, Yuta's insane. Yuta is actually freaking broken. Now compare that to Junpei. I have to point it out because, like, I just got to convince you guys, don't summon on this character. Don't summon on him. I can't say it enough. Increases own damage when Tokyo Jujutsu High students are present on the field. He does not have a Black Flash, first off. And then deals 110% jujutsu damage to the selected enemy, decreases the selected enemy's damage by 20%. Like, that's okay, but I'd rather decrease the enemy's critical resist rate or their defense or something like that. Like, that's so much better. So that's not that great. Skill 2, Moon Dregs, grants attack nullification to self for 1 turn, attracts all enemies' attacks for 1 turn, and decreases all enemies' damage received by 10%. Why would I ever need this particular skill that only works for 1 turn when instead I could just use Gojo, and there is a residual memory or a residue, whatever you want to call it, a recollection, has so many names. There's a recollection you can put on Gojo that lets him draw aggro, and Gojo just literally can't die for 7 turns. So why would I use this over using Gojo, right? So this guy just doesn't really have a lot of uses when compared to other characters. And then skill 3, Poison Stab, deals 85% jujutsu damage to the selected enemy, deals 30% continuous jujutsu poison damage to the selected enemy for 3 turns, increases the selected enemy's damage received by 10%. Like, that's such a minuscule increase in damage received. as an SSR, it's almost not even worth it. At level 10, it goes up to 15%. It could be better. There's SRs with better stats than that in general, in my opinion. And then the ultimate, that's not what life is about. Deals 400% Jujutsu damage to the selected enemy, deals 120% continuous Jujutsu damage poison to the selected enemy, decreases the selected enemy's Jujutsu damage by 30%. So basically, he's a tank who lets enemies not hit you as hard, which I just don't, there's better tanks. Combo ultimates don't really matter. Auto skills don't hold me back. At the start of the battle, increases own damage by 7.5%. So he does a little bit of extra damage, but what is a little bit of extra damage on a defensive character? So Junpei is just not it. Now Megumi, let's talk about Megumi. I absolutely love this character. I have played both Yuta and Megumi on the JP version of the game. I'll actually be doing a showcase here for them shortly, maybe tomorrow. Like, you'll see this video after that video after this one, where you can see how these characters look. But Megumi is absolutely freaking phenomenal. Okay, so at the start of each turn, and if own curse energy is 15 or below, fill some of your ultimate skill gauge. Why is this good? Because that gives him his domain expansion, and when he has his domain expansion, he becomes a completely different character. I don't care that he doesn't have a Black Flash, he does not need one. His skill 1 is called Exorcist Slash. Actually, let's scroll down. Let's start with the special. I think it makes more sense to start with the ultimate skill for this Megumi so you guys can understand what's going on before we go into the skills. So the ultimate, Domain Expansion Chimera Shadow Garden. Deals 1051.7% ranged Jujutsu damage to the selected enemy for 4 hits. Stuns the selected enemy for 1 turn, at 100% chance to do that, and then he's going to expand his domain. So that's all really good. You already stun on your ultimate, but then additionally, while the domain is active, decreases all enemies' damage by 35%, increases all damage received for the enemies by 45%. That's freaking insane. Grants attack immunity to self, so he can't be damaged for 4 turns. Decreases own skills curse energy cost, so his skills cost less, so you can use them whichever skills you want. And then the only downside is he's unable to fill his own ultimate skill gauge during this time, right? So that's all insanely good. Now, if we look at the other skills, you're going to see 2 different effects. One effect without the domain active and one effect with the domain active. So skill 1, Exorcist Slash, deals 120.1% melee taijutsu damage to the selected enemy. That's without the domain. Now, while the domain is active, deals 200% damage to the selected enemy and increases the selected enemy's damage received by 75% for 3 turns. So you're stacking that 75% on top of the 45% there. It's kind of nuts, because then your next characters that attack after Megumi are going to go crazy. Like, that's so good. Skill 2, Continuous Exorcist Slashes, deals 130.6% melee taijutsu damage to all enemies. It is an AoE attack, so that makes it okay without the domain. But then while the domain is active, deals melee combined damage equal to 140.3% taijutsu and 140.3% jujutsu to all enemies, so it increases the damage by quite a bit. And then deals 120.1% ranged jujutsu damage to all enemies, so even more damage on that skill. And then his skill 3, this is another really good one. Deals melee combined damage equal to 170.1% taijutsu and 120.1% jujutsu to the selected enemy. Increases the selected enemy's taijutsu damage received by 20%. That's without domain. Okay, now while domain is active, deals melee combined damage equal to 300% taijutsu and 150% jujutsu to the selected enemy. Deals 150% ranged jujutsu damage to the selected enemy. And then here's the really cool part, increases the selected enemy's taijutsu damage received by 60% for 2 turns and stuns the selected enemy 100% chance. That's freaking broken. Megumi is absolutely insane. I really like this Megumi so much, and it's crazy to me that even though he does all that, they still don't rate him in double S tier with these other characters. So just keep that in mind. Like, he looks freaking phenomenal, but Yuta's still technically a better character. So you guys are going to want to summon. Go crazy for Yuta. Make sure you save now. Do not be spending now. You should not be spending one more time on the Homesick Horizon banner. You should also not be spending on the Junpei banner. You guys should be saving so that you can summon on Yuta's banner when he comes up, and so you can summon on Megumi's banner. And then after that, Of course, we'll have Nimble Body Itadori and Gojo. I'll do a video on their kits later on. But that is it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please consider going down there, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and thank you guys for supporting the channel. I appreciate y'all. Peace.